Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, President Adama Barrow, my Lord, the Chief Justice, Honorable Cabinet Ministers here in present, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, senior government officials here in present, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, my colleagues, leaders of political parties, representatives for the faith-based organizations, representatives from the civil society, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed fellow Gambians. First and foremost, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency President Adama Barrow for not only spearheading this noble initiative that brings together Gambians from all walks of life, both in the public and private sectors, but also for extending an invitation to me to participate in this crucial national engagement forum. Thank you. The chosen team, our collective responsibility for the preservation and safeguarding of our national sovereignty and the mechanisms to secure our resources, holds profound significance, especially considering the timing of the National Preparatory Committee's task falling on the occasion of the 59th Independence Day anniversary celebrations. By this act of wisdom, the President has demonstrated unmistakable example of democratic maturity and political civility in the process of enhancing governance and national development in a domestic context of broad national harmony. When we reflect deeply, we will find that the very logic of this convergence find expression in the founding principles of our republic. The National Pledge teaches us that it is the combination of government and people working together in unison and harmony that will lead us to achieve our common desires. It also warned us that if we insist on pursuing our personal goals without keeping the collective objective, we shall be divided and we shall fall. The preamble of our national governing instrument, the Constitution, has also affirmed that power is derived from the collective will of the people. I am therefore optimistic for the future of our nation, a nation whose people are predominantly kind-hearted and remarkably tolerant. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 2 days from today, it will be 59 years since the Gambia won its freedom and sovereignty. We will utilize this occasion to reflect on how far we have come as a country in improving people's quality of life and in entrenching a culture of democracy and human rights. We will reflect on the progressive policies that have provided basic services to the overwhelming majority of the Gambian people. At the same time, we will acknowledge where we have not achieved enough, where expectations have not been met, and indeed, where the promise of our democracy has been challenged. In this regard, I am appealing to the patriotism and sense of responsibility of all compatriots in the country and in the diaspora, so that everyone, wherever they are, sees this historic opportunity to help to steer our country on the path of peace, harmony, security, and progress. As Speaker of the legislative organ of the state, I wish to assure all Gambians that the National Assembly remains committed to fulfilling its social contract with the Gambian people. We are committed to putting in place laws that can boost democracy, rule of law, transparency, peace and stability, and deliver social services to all Gambians without discrimination. The National Assembly will also continue to hold the government accountable to the people of the Gambia through our oversight functions and represent the wishes and aspirations of every Gambian. Your Excellency, compatriots, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, whilst we acknowledge, like any other nation, we have experienced occasional social, political, and economic turbulence, threatening the very foundation of our democracy and stability. Our resilience in the face of adversity has consistently strengthened us. In times of hardship, we have emerged stronger, more peaceful, and undoubtedly more stable. The occasion of this dialogue, set against the backdrop of our Independence Day celebration, provides us with an opportunity to reflect on our journey, appreciate our accomplishments, and collectively chart a course towards a future marked by enhanced democracy, lasting peace and prosperity, and continued stability. Despite the profound animosities among political opponents, the inexorable forces of circumstance and time have consistently fostered reconciliation and collaboration for the preservation of our sovereignty and stability. However, reflecting on historical dynamics between antagonistic political parties, I must acknowledge that the commitment and initiatives undertaken by the government under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow to unite opposing parties for the common good of the country are truly unprecedented. This government has in recent times not only demonstrated its commitment to democratic values by allowing free exercise of our rights to associate, speak, and assemble, but has also admirably listened to dissenting voices, even those occasionally violating the norms. The government's outreach to opposition parties, aiming to harmonize national efforts and collaborate for the preservation of our nation, democracy, resources, has been particularly evident in recent times. Let us therefore utilize this moment and opportunity in view of our history and experience to put an end to the emerging rise in variants of right-wing and left-wing populism in our politics by crafting viable partnerships among ourselves as political and opinion leaders that reflect the Gambian context in all its nuances, complexity, and opportunities. Your Excellency, the President, compatriots, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we engage in this dialogue to fortify our national solidarity, let us also remind ourselves of our rich cultural norms and values, steeped in religious tolerance and ethnic harmony, which have historically bound us together, while some have lamented the few vocal individuals amongst us whose lack of progressive political ideas transform them into intolerant activists, resorting to derogatory language and profanities to intimidate opponents. It is essential to recognize that political leaders harboring such elements in their ranks inadvertently repel voters rather than attract them. Regrettably, social media has been wielded as a tool to propagate toxic political rhetoric, which, as mentioned earlier, undermines the interests of the perpetrators' political parties rather than advancing their cause. I therefore invite the collective wisdom of all those who led us previously in the making of this country, weaving it together as a proud nation of all who live in it, united in their diversity. May they come forward and bless us as we undertake similar steps that require the nation to pause in attention and reaffirm its commitment to move forward in concert towards the attainment of progressive, peaceful, and prosperous nation. This national dialogue will not stop after tomorrow. It is just the beginning. It is the launch of the dialogue that must spread across our nation as we collectively grapple with the most crucial question: what do we do going forward to serve the people even better? As we grapple with these issues, may we embrace each other as Gambians who share a common aspiration for our people and our country. I am optimistic that the consultative forums that will punctuate this dialogue will critically and frankly discuss the themes under consideration and present us with tangible resolutions to better the lives of our countrymen and citizens and move our country forward. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, may the Almighty Allah bless all of you and continue to preserve the Gambia's peace and stability. I thank you for your kind attention.